What's up, everyone? Kyle here. I'm really excited to be starting a subscription for this podcast. Now, that doesn't mean that you need a subscription to listen to this podcast, but the benefits of getting a subscription are no ads like this one, and a shout out on each episode, as well as knowing that your money is going towards doing something good. This money is not meant to go to me. Some of it is meant to help me maintain this podcast and keep getting guests on, but most of it is meant to go towards providing school supplies towards kids in need. It's my commitment to put $3 of every monthly subscription towards providing school supplies to kids in need and helping them achieve their goals and dreams as well. This is a passion of mine. This is something that I really have been pursuing. This is why I have started all this, the podcasting, the books, everything like that, was to give opportunities to other people. So I'm very excited to be able to do this now. The subscription is $4.99 a month, so nothing crazy, less one cup of coffee a month, that sort of thing. But it's very exciting, and it's going towards something that I am really passionate about and believe in. And I hope you enjoy the benefits of being a premium subscriber. There'll also be discounts and things along the way that I'll make available to people as time moves on and as this continues to grow. The link to subscribe is in the description below, so check that out. There's also a link to donate towards the mission of providing school supplies to those in need, so you can do that as well. Thanks again, and enjoy the episode. All right, welcome everyone. This is Our Travel Experiences. I'm host Kyle Rasmussen, and today I have with me Cliff. Cliff, how are you today?
Good. How's it going?
Good, good. It's a pretty nice morning up here in Washington, and I think you said that you had a little nice morning hike this morning, so uh, that's good. Got some good weather.
Trying to beat the heat before it down here in San Diego.
Okay, what's the temperature supposed to get to today?
Yesterday was the upper 90s. I think it broke 100, so today is going to be about the same. So I try to get out there with my dog before it gets too crazy hot.
Yeah, how's everyone doing down there after the hurricane or tropical storm?
It hit different parts of the state. We have a small vineyard, and it knocked over a lot of our vines, but fortunately I was able to get them back propped up, and then other areas weren't impacted at all. And then you have like Palm Springs, and they shut the 10 down. It was just totally devastated. So it was just,
Wow.
Yeah, hit and miss. We lucked out. No major damage.
Yeah, well, that's good. That's good. You got, it can be some crazy weather, for sure, in different parts, and definitely when you're looking to get outdoors and hike, like, that's how I found you, was through, I think we follow a couple different hiking people on Instagram. Weather can definitely be a factor in that for sure.
Right, right.
So kind of give the listeners a little bit of background. I know you've done some hikes, some major hikes internationally and around the U.S. So kind of give me a little bit of background on how you got into hiking and maybe some of the hikes that you've done.
Yeah, sure. Well, I grew up in Bellingham, Washington, in the Northwest, and I was always active in the outdoors. After that, I joined the military. I was in the Navy for 20 years, traveled all around the world. And then when I got out, I met my wife in Hawaii, and she's from Washington State also. But then we
Oh, wow.
here in California. Um, and to be honest, I wasn't a big fan of it at first because it was just hot and dry, and I was crying and whining all the time. But she took me to Yosemite, and I'm not sure if you've been there, but when you go through that tunnel and enter the valley, I was blown away, and
Yeah.
we kind of joke about it. She's like, "So do you still not like California?" And I'm like, "It's okay." But to be honest, I was just like, "Wow, it was like nothing I've ever seen." So it really inspired me. I did Mount Whitney, just a little weekend hike up to Whitney.
Mm-hmm.
After that, I did the John Muir Trail. I went northbound, starting in Horseshoe Meadows, and then was on the trail for just about 2 weeks.
Okay.
made me fall in love with California even more. So it's a huge, very diverse state. I mean, you can go skiing and next day you can go to the beach and go surfing if you want.
Mm-hmm.
And then our latest hike was in France last year. We did the Tour de Mont Blanc, and that was incredible. So,
what's up, everyone? Kyle here. I am super excited to share that my audiobook version of Travel Tips is up now. You can find it on Audible, Libro.fm, and anywhere else that you get your podcasts. Go check it out and buy a copy. It also has 30 minutes, a little over 30 minutes of bonus commentary that isn't in the actual book, so that's a little added bonus. But go check it out. I appreciate all the support, and I hope you guys enjoy the episode.
For the Tour de Mont Blanc, we have friends and family in France and Europe, and we explored the region all over the country. And was it about 2 years ago, I discovered the Hexatrek, a new through hike in France. It was kind of their version of PCT, so I've been training and preparing for that, and the plan is to traverse that next year in June.
Okay. How many miles or kilometers is that?
It's a little over 3,000 kilometers.
Oh, wow.
So I'll be starting in the Alps, the Vosges, and trekking across the country and ending in the Pyrenees. And, as you mentioned, well, previously I had a complete quad rupture when we were hiking. It tore a 1-inch piece of my patella off last year.
Oh, jeez.
So it's something that really motivated me and inspired me to train harder, prepare, and it gave me something to look forward to, a new challenge. And after I turned 51 in July, so it gave me just a drive to focus on my health more and future goals.
Yeah, I mean, I can't even imagine having your patella ripped out like that, but what was it like in terms of, like, I'm assuming you had to get surgery, and then what was the recovery process like?
So it happened after we did the Tour de Mont Blanc. We spent over a week on the trail hiking, crazy terrain in the Alps. And then for my birthday, we went canyoning in the south of France. And I was just doing an easy little 30-minute hike. I had a pack on with some rappelling gear in it. And it's not even a cool story to tell. All I did was slip. I fell on my butt. And when I went to stand up, I just crumbled and fell again. I thought I bruised or, did something to my muscle. And my wife was behind me. She's like, "You okay?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm fine." And we got down to the river, the canyon, put our wetsuits on, and our tour guide, Henry, he was like, "Okay, once we start, there's no turning back." And I'm like, "Yeah, let's do it." I had no idea the extent of my injury. So
wow, that's crazy.
I just kind of went for it. We made it through the canyon, and again, I thought, oh, it's just a bruised muscle or something like this. And this happened in July, and we returned back to the States in August. And I was like, well, the swelling's not going down. I guess I should. Well, actually, it was my wife. She's like, "You should go to the doctor." I'm like, "Yeah, I think I should." And yeah, he's like, "Yeah, you have a complete quad rupture." So,
oh gosh,
that was in August, just over a year ago. And the Dr. Brommel here in Escondido was amazing. He works on a lot of athletes, and he said, he goes, "My only concern with you is that you just take it slow. Don't push yourself too hard." So I tend to do that even when I'm hiking. I get, I don't know what it is, this competitive drive, if you will. I want to get the miles in. If somebody passes me, I'm like, no, but now I'm just, I'm older and slower and just enjoying the hikes more and the scenery, taking it all in.
Yeah, I'm the same way. It's so hard to just slow down and take in everything. I want to win.
I don't know what it is, but yeah, I've slowed down. I tried to anyway.
Uh, what so you had surgery to repair it, and then what kind of stuff did you do to get that leg back up to speed?
So the surgery, was just in and out the same day. And then I believe it was a few weeks later, I started physical therapy. Just some really, I was in a break course for weeks.
Mhm.
And well, backing up a little bit, I guess I finally got my trail name, Jean de Bois. It was basically wooden leg or peg leg. So Jean de Bois it is. So I just doing little squats, your everyday exercises that I took for granted. Um, and after, now I can run, I can hike, I can do, I'd say it's about 90% back to where it was,
Wow.
it was a good wake up call. So I definitely, going down hills, descents, I took a little slower.
Okay. What did it dealing with that recovery process, did you like start looking into maybe some of the mechanics of like how your leg works, like nutrition behind helping you recover, or something like that?
Um, Not so much nutrition. I looked and I started following different people on Instagram and Facebook. Uh, I guess personal trainers, athletes,
Hmm.
just various utilizing different exercises to gain the strength back. It's still, like I said, it's still getting there. I'm not running as much as I used to. I try to bike more. Um, and I'm always hiking. I do a hike daily. We're really fortunate where I live. There's an
Wow.
avocado grove near my house, so it's a lot of up and down and dirt roads I hike on with my dog. So that's been a big help in recovering. But it was somewhat mentally challenging as well because it was
Mhm.
depressing. I got kind of in a funk, and I wasn't able to do a lot of the things I was able to do previously. But I also knew it was temporary. So again, that's what motivated me to be, driven more to exercise more and get in shape. And the Hexatrek coming up here next year has been a big factor in that as well.
Yeah, did you find the Hexatrek and make that like a goal of yours, uh, to like be recovered in time to do that?
Well, like I said, we discovered during the Tour de Mont Blanc. Um,
Okay.
and I was surprised because a lot of the hikers, the French, the locals, I when I was hiking, I asked them if they've heard of it. A lot of them heard of the PCT, but they hadn't heard of the Hexatrek. So it definitely became a goal of mine, and I wanted to do it last year, I'm this year, but the doctor goes, no, you need to slow down, give your leg more time. Like, but after, of course, I'm like, I can do it, but it all worked out. Um, Obviously you got to listen to the doctor, and he was right. Um, it's taken some time. This was August. I had my surgery, and we're at the end of August now, coming in. So it's been a solid year. It's taken
Wow.
a good solid year to get back to where I was, and feeling comfortable with having weight on my back and
Hmm.
doing the things I used to do. So if the folks that are out there are injured or do get injured, just you got to remember, it takes time.
Hmm. Yeah, and I would assume, actually slowing it down, but still kind of pushing yourself, through the little hikes that you're doing and stuff like that. I'm sure that's been a huge help for getting back to where, 90% of where you were.
It has been, yeah. And then following people and on Instagram and watching them on their hikes, the ups and downs of the trail, of life, of injuries, of not only physically but emotionally. So just having a a better, more healthy, positive mindset.
Did you do any like meditation or things like that to help you mentally?
Um, maybe a little I did, yeah, yeah. Just trying to, well, I don't know about meditation so much. I guess my meditation is when I'm on the trail and just tuning
Yeah.
everything out. I don't listen to the radio. I just, focus being in the present, the sound of the
Mhm.
ground crunching under my feet, or noticing things that I used to not be aware of. Uh, what the wind sounds like blowing through the trees, the smells, and just being present in the moment. I guess, I did meditate on, the way my feet would land on the ground, the way they would hit, the mechanics of my legs, my hips, starting from my feet and working all the way up through my body, and just being more aware, more mindful of, the way my body moves on the trail.
Yeah, I'm glad you put it that way. I feel like hiking is so therapeutic. Just being out there in nature, not having to deal with any, city noise or listening to music or anything like that. It's just you and in nature. I think that's the best meditation right there.
Yeah. So now that you mention it, absolutely. I was thinking, at first when you said meditation, sitting in some lotus position and
Yeah.
but it's like, no, just being on the trail. That's my church, if you will. That's where I find my happiness.
Yeah, that's awesome. I love that.
Yeah.
So this Hexatrek hike coming up, you said 3,000 kilometers. I mean, that's quite a lot. What's have you done planning for this? Like, how long are you expecting this to take?
So what our plan is my wife has been studying French for years, and she's going to go to France for approximately 3 months to just become immersed. I was going to go with her, but we have a dog, and it's just the logistics of traveling with our dog and going to
Mhm.
France with her would be difficult. So I'm going to stay here, watch the dog, and then we found a great pet sitter, and just the cost of it as well. So while
Yeah.
she's in France, I'll be here training, watching the dog, taking care of things back home. And then for 2 weeks, I'm going to meet up with her in the south of France. Say hi, bye. She'll come back, and then I'll hit the trail for, I'm guessing it's going to be around 3.5 months. It's hard to say. I don't have any set plans as far as I'm going to hike so many kilometers per day. I'm just going to totally just go with the flow. I'm gonna eat where I eat, wherever I sleep, and I'm not a big planner when it comes to that. I just like to have things unfold um, naturally,
Hmm.
and I guess the reason why is because when I planned for the John Muir Trail a few years ago, I was looking at the map every day and I'm thinking I'm going to hike this many miles. I'm going to stop here. I'm going to sleep and eat and get water. And, you've hiked and that pretty much goes out the window the first day. So, I'm like, heck with all this planning. I did look in, to, of course, the gear. Physically, I'm ready. I feel stronger now. And I think, from what I've read, from what I understand, it's more of a set emotional mental challenge. So I have to just stay positive, embrace the suck, if you will.
Yeah.
And sometimes actually when that happens, when it's either extremely cold or wet or hot, I kind of get, I don't want to say pissed off, but it just makes me like, okay, come on, let's go, bring it, and I push
Mhm.
harder. So I'm a little weird that way.
Yeah, no, I love that. I feel like that's a really good mindset to have to see, bad weather as an opportunity to, get stronger or push through it or whatever, versus saying, "Oh no, this is terrible. Like I can't hike today, or I need to quit," sort of thing.
Yeah, just day by day, little by little.
Yeah, that's awesome. So what kind of gear are you going to take with you for a 3,000 kilometer hike?
I'm not an ultralight hiker. I like comfort, so I have an Osprey pack, which I absolutely love. The last one I had on the TMB, it developed this squeak, in this. It was just super annoying. So I contacted the company. I sent it in. They couldn't fix it. They sent me a brand new one.
Oh wow.
It's a 60-liter pack, I believe. And I have the MSR Hubba Hubba 2-person tent. I like a little room for my pack and to be able to stretch out, and I do have a Thermarest mattress, and yeah, I wouldn't say ultra light at all. I mean, it's super comfortable. I when I hike, I stick my gear in there plus a 10-pound dumbbell, and I'm around a little over about 32 pounds total for training.
Okay.
And I don't even notice it. It's just I'm cruising along and feeling good. So, yeah, I prefer comfort. I'm not going to be drilling holes in my toothbrush or cutting my mattress in half. I'd rather be comfortable and on the trail. Have a nice shelter to sleep in, and I guess the only ultralight thing I have, which is absolutely amazing, I switched over to an Enlightened Equipment quilt, and it's just super lightweight, super compact, and I tend to run hot. I'm definitely a warm sleeper, so I do like the cold. And this thing, it's quite toasty. But that's the other thing I've been looking at too, is watching like here and the rest of the world. They've been having the heat waves, and when we did the TMB, it was in the 90s. They had the heat wave. Also, they're experiencing hot weather there now, 40 degrees Celsius, above 100 degrees. And then I read an article this morning, they're getting snow in the Pyrenees. So it's just from one extreme to the other. And then going back to gear, with that being said, I do have some micro spikes that I may or may not need. It's just, as you know, going in the mountains, the weather is so unpredictable and changes.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just trying to be as prepared as possible, but also just going with the flow,
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, I think that's a really difficult challenge to prep for such a long time, but also make sure you got gear for different weather and altitudes, and it could be 90 degrees one day and snowing the next, sort of thing. That's I think that's a fun challenge, and I'm excited to see what that turns out to be for you next year.
Yeah, definitely.
So when you were hiking the Mont Blanc, were you said you had a guide with you? Is that right?
Well, we did. It was kind of a glamping experience. My wife's not a bit kind of sleeping in tents, day after day without showers. So she planned a self-guided hike through Tour de Mont Blanc company, a trekking company there. So each day, it was quite challenging. I was like, oh, it's gonna be a breeze. I did Whitney and the JMT, and I'm ready for this. But it was steep, and it was no joke. And my wife was a trooper. We took a couple of variants that were just like literally, one was called the Fenêtre d'Arpette, and they had these Volkswagen-sized boulders with not deep glacial crevices, but if you fell in one, you could definitely get injured.
Oh, wow.
We scrambled over a boulder field, and then to get to the summit, we were on our hands and knees to get to this point, not realizing there was an alternate, easier route called the bovine route. So when we got to our auberge, the destination that evening, we almost didn't make it for dinner. And some of the other hikers that we had passed, off and on throughout the days, they were kind of concerned for us. They're like, oh my God, you guys made it. But it was one of those things. Again, it was kind of like, yeah, embrace the suck. We took the challenging route, kind of like bragging rights in a way. And my wife, it was awesome. It was the little village we ended up in was called Trillon, and it was just this beautiful, picturesque postcard French village. Just amazing, absolutely amazing. And one of the things I've been doing on the trails or when we vacation now, rather than, of course, we want to experience the sights, you know, and historical aspects of everything, but I would engage with people more. I met a lot of people from around the world, and I would just try to, you know, whether they were little shop owners, you know, from restaurant shop, whatever, or just other people on the trail from Israel, Pakistan, Italy. You know, I would just try to. I was taking selfies with the bus driver, you know, and the Italian bus driver, and just trying to, you know, I connect with people more and learn, you know, rather than just visiting the sites and of the country. I wanted to get to know the people, and it just made the experience so much more enjoyable and memorable.
Yeah, I love that. When you were in the Navy, did you? I mean, you said you traveled the world. Did you get to meet a lot of people and really, you know, get to learn some of the different cultures and things like that around the world?
Not as much as I'd like to. I mean, looking back on it, you know, I was probably one of your average typical sailor pulling into port. Some of them, it's like not as memorable as it should have been. But yeah, no, we were stationed. We lived in Japan for a while, and again, the food, the customs, the people, absolutely beautiful, beautiful. It was in northern Japan in Misawa. And then also I did deployments in South America, some with drug interdiction deployments. A lot of my places, they weren't the most, you know, I mean, Adak, Alaska, off the Aleutian Islands, or in Guantanamo Bay, not a vacation destination at all, but
Yeah.
an interesting experience nonetheless. I joke because we pulled into Nassau, Bahamas, and I was I say that's where Enrique Iglesias met me. So I guess I didn't even know who the guy was. We were playing roulette, and I'm just kind of shooting the guy, and you know, I was like, "Okay, see you later, bye, nice talking to you." And then the roulette dealer was like, all like, oh my god, do you know who that was?" I'm like, "Nah, I don't know." I just joke, and Anna Kournikova, you know, so
Wow.
like I said, I didn't know who they were. I was just talking with them, having a drink, and you know, they were nice. It was fun. So I joke. I'm like, "Oh, Enrique met me."
Yeah. I'm sure he was honored to meet you. That's crazy. But what was that like? I mean, we don't have to get too much into that, but I mean, it sounds like you were living on the ship for a long time, just, you know, going into different ports. What was that like? You know, being a sailor.
I was an MA, which is a Master at Arms Military Police. So I was like a ship sheriff. It was a small boy. We only had 200 personnel on board, and I was really fortunate because I had my own office, so I could get away from people and kind of lock myself in there. And we had internet access, which was also nice. So I was able to communicate with my wife. My wife did 23 years in the Navy as well. So she understood you know, it is what it is. When you got to go, you have to go. And we're, I'd like to call myself a short-haired hippie now. You know, we're not your typical retired military folks. We enjoyed it. We had some great experiences, but it was good to be home. And she's super supportive. And it was tough, you know, because we had kids, or well, we do have kids. They're grown now, doing their own thing. But yeah, I got to see a lot of different parts of the world, and as did she.
Yeah, that's awesome. Do you think? Oh, go ahead.
Sorry, she's from Washington. We met in Hawaii, and we've been together about 30 years now.
Wow, that's amazing. Congrats.
Thank you.
It's kind of weird how the world just kind of brings people together. I mean, you can, you know, be on totally different paths, but they just happen happen to cross, and it works out.
It is, yeah, for sure. I mean, that's why I love meeting people, and kind of a segue to that. Our son, when he was in high school, played volleyball, and there was a French family at this court here in Rancho Bernardo, and I hear him yelling at his son, "Ale, ale, ale." Hey, where are you from? He spoke a little bit of English. I spoke a little bit of French, and this was over 10 years ago. And now we're like family. We see them, they come here. And through them, we've met other friends who live in the Basque Country in France, in Ert, which is near the end of the Hexatrek. So, they think I'm crazy for wanting to hike over 3,000 kilometers through France, but just like you said, those connections and those chance encounters of how we connect with people. I mean, they're like family now. And when we went to visit them last time, they have little motos, and I went with Michel, and he goes, "We're going to go to the bakery, the boulangerie," and we picked up a baguette, and I was following him on the motorcycle. And I'll tell you what, it was the coolest experience ever as a tourist, being led through these little twisty roundabouts, going to the local boulangerie, picking up bread, zipping through. I mean, it was like, how many other Americans get to experience this,
Yeah.
way of it was the coolest thing ever, Yeah.
Yeah, I love those moments. Those are such like the most serendipitous moments when those happen. And that I feel like that's why you always just be nice to people and get to know them and everything. And I've gotten to make a lot of friends around the world just from doing that, from meeting people as I've traveled and getting to know a little bit about their story. And all of a sudden, it's like I have family all over the world.
It's great. Yeah, truly, it really, really is. And I'm sure you must be a fan of Rick Steves.
Oh yeah.
He's great, and I mean, I wish I could describe it the way he does, but I mean, travel is just it opens your mind, to meet new people and explore, travel. You build connections, and these the relationships, and they're more than friends. They truly are. They're like family, and
yeah, definitely. So after this Hexatrek, do you have any other hikes that you're looking at doing?
Not at the moment. It was kind of when I did the JMT, I was totally in love with it. And I'm thinking, oh, PCT, I'm going to do the PCT. But once I finished the JMT, I just wanted to be home. I'm like, I don't want to hike ever again. That didn't last very long. And then, I guess, I don't know. I don't know what it must be like, but perhaps I guess maybe like having kids, like I'm only, maybe this is so out far left field, but I imagine the pain and everything that it must be like experience, for women to experience childbirth and going through that. But then it's like they have another kid, and I think maybe I'm not trying to compare the two. I'm just trying to think of an analogy that may be similar to hiking. Is like it's so challenging, and sometimes, oh my God, why am I out here? I should be home. I can be sleeping in a warm bed with good food, but then once it's over, I'm drawn to it. I don't know. There was something about nature that calls me, that I'm just drawn to. So after the Hexatrek, I don't know. I'm sure there will be something. I mean, I want to be able to continue to have adventures as long as my body allows it to, I have the health to be able to do it. I want to continue to, to take these journeys and explore new places and meet new people.
Yeah, that's awesome. I totally get what you're saying too. Like you just kind of get almost like addicted to some of that suffering and just the experience that you're on. That's how I am with running. Every time I run a long race, I say, "Oh, I'm never going to do this again," and then 2 days later, I'm ready to do it again.
You're training again. What's the last race you did?
Yeah, the last one I did was a 100 miler ultra
Whoa.
marathon.
Okay, yeah, that's painful. Where was that?
That was down along the Columbia River in North Bonneville, Washington.
Is that the Hood to Coast?
No, not the Hood to Coast. I forget. It's called the Strawberry Fields Forever, I believe.
Oh wow.
Just kind of out there. It was a loop, so we did the loop multiple times. But it was beautiful, beautiful area, beautiful weather. It was not so beautiful around mile 95 to 100, but
How long did that take you?
I finished in 26 and a half hours.
And just nonstop. Wow.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, I sit down and rest a little bit, get some food, change my shirt, that sort of thing. But yeah, I didn't sleep at all for any of that, and I was ready to die by the end. But then after a couple days, literally 2 days after recovering, I was ready to go back into the gym and get after it again. And I'm ready to do the next one.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's wild. It's just I don't know. I feel like that's how you know you're doing something you love. When you are able to go through all that adversity, that struggle, and then you want to go back and do it again.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, maybe the analogy I used wasn't very good, but it's yeah. There's just I don't know how to describe it. I don't know how to explain it. If like you've done it, you've experienced, you just know. It's hard for me anyway to put into words to describe it. But just like my friends, they think I'm crazy, but it's like once you're out there, it's like I need to do this. I want to do. I'm just driven,
Yeah.
I'm pulled towards it. Yeah, for sure. So I don't know what the other one will be, but there will be one for sure.
Yeah. Well, and hiking is so good for you too. I feel like just mentally, like we talked about, mentally, physically, I feel like if you keep doing that, you're going to be able to do that and anything else you want to do, whether it's travel or whatever for a long time to come.
Right. Well, and like you with your book, whatever, I mean, you're bringing an awareness to people about, a particular area or the environment with glaciers. I spoke to a guy in Switzerland, Thierry, and he said this was before we did the TMB, and he was talking about the glaciers and how much they rely on that fresh water source, but also sadly how much they've receded, that he's seen during his lifetime. So not just about my health, being able to do it while I still have my health, but also doing these hikes while still nature and beauty to enjoy before it sadly disappears, which a lot of it has, due to fires or drought, various beetle infestations with the trees or whatever, you name it. But it's there. I want to enjoy it. I want to appreciate it, and I want to be able to hopefully, like you, bring awareness to people that we can do something to help preserve this for future generations.
Yeah, definitely. What do you think people can do when they're hiking to make sure that nature is preserved for generations to come?
Yeah, great question. I just try to do your part, just even like with the leave no trace, not being wasteful with resources, like I said, I'm not an ultralight or minimalist hiker, but when it comes to conservation resources such as water or of that nature, I try to be as best I can. I guess I haven't thought about it. I'm sure there's so many things we can do to help preserve.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's scary to think about.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I definitely think the leave no trace. If you pack it in, pack it out, kind of thing. That's always important to remember. I can't tell you how many times I've seen trash while I've been hiking in some remote areas, which is it's frustrating. You know, it ruins
It is, yeah.
the ambience of the spot you're in and everything.
And then if
Um,
I, like you, if I see it, I try to, I'll pick it up and take it out with me.
yeah.
Yeah.
But, is there any other than the Hexa Trek? Is there any other spots that really like resonate with you? Like, oh, I'd really love to hike in South America or something like that.
We have our little tentative bucket list, and New Zealand looks
Okay.
absolutely amazing. We'd like to travel there sometime and explore that area. The Dolomites. Um, I mean, man, there's just so many places. Vietnam. Not a fan of the heat or humidity, but it looks like an absolutely beautiful country. Anything with mountains, trees, that's what resonates. That's what I'm drawn to. I
Yeah.
guess that northwest in me, just
Mhm.
like I said, it's taken me years to become. I haven't adapted to the heat here in California, but I have come to appreciate it more. And but I still call the Northwest home.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Lots of great hiking up here in the Northwest, that's for sure. But I really enjoyed a lot of hikes down there in San Diego as well. I loved getting out up in the near Julian and hiking up in there. A lot of great spots up there to spend an afternoon or a day.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, and not even long distance, through hikes. There's plenty of great day hikes here,
Mhm.
with great views. As long as you can, beat the heat. And my
Yeah.
dog, having a dog, that she's a Siberian Husky German Shepherd mix, 7 years old now, and she helps keep me motivated, because she needs exercise, and I do canicross. I used to with her. She has a harness, and I put a harness on me for running or hiking, and just hands free. So she helps keep me out on the trail and active. It's good for her. It's good for me. Um, yeah, even this morning, there's coyotes around here, and she gets a scent, picks up the track, and she starts pulling like crazy. She's and helps increase my time on the trail with Strava.
Yeah. Yeah. Have you ever like encountered any coyotes or bears or anything like that while you've been out hiking?
A lot of coyotes here, one bobcat, and then we
Wow.
did come across a bear while on the JMT, and it was more of a. I mean, I'm definitely large enough to do some damage to you, but it. I have a video of it, and it just kind of, just nonchalantly walked up to these girls that were cooking breakfast, and it scared the heck out of them. And I know, we want to take pictures of them and we want to get close because it's like, wow, but you know, we started throwing rocks in its direction and making a lot of noise to scare it. I felt bad doing that, but it's not just for our safety, it's for the bear's safety as well, because
Yeah.
people get too used. They want to, oh, cute bear, and they want to feed it or they want to get a picture, um, not realizing what harm they're doing.
Mhm.
So yeah, we threw rocks, not at it, but in its direction. Made a lot of noise. It scared it off. It scared it to a hiker a few hundred yards up the trail, and he started doing the same thing. So it kind of came back towards us, and then it finally just sat down between us, and it was, just kind of sat on its butt and was like not knowing what to do. It seemed like he was, or she, I don't know, trying to figure life out. And but it was a pretty neat encounter. But what I would love to see, or at least hear, my favorite animal by far is a wolf. I've never
Okay.
seen one in the wild. I've never heard one. and I hope I get the chance someday to see that or hear it. And they are making a comeback, and a lot of ranchers aren't happy with that. As in the Pyrenees in France, the bears are making a comeback, but the same goes there as well. A lot of the farmers are not happy with the bears coming back. So one of the guys that I'm following on Instagram, he's from Scotland, and I believe he thinks he saw a bear. He's in the Pyrenees right now, so he very well may have. But I hope I get a chance to see that. Probably the coolest thing, I wasn't hiking, but we were near Sisters, Oregon, on a little ranch, and we saw a badger. That was a pretty cool chance encounter. So we steered clear of them, but yeah, pretty impressive little dude.
Huh. Very cool. Yeah, it's. I feel like a wolf would be pretty wild to see out there. Hopefully, you're at a safe distance when you do.
Exactly. Yeah. Or a cougar, very, very safe distance. I'm pretty sure they've seen us running through the trails and hiking. That's an animal I wouldn't want to come across face to face. That would scare the heck out of me for sure. But
yeah, that's one I'm probably good with not seeing.
yeah. But I know they've seen us for sure, but they, from what I've read or understand, they tend to just, avoid us.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Yep. Yeah, well, Cliff, any other, stories that you want to share in terms of your travels, your hiking, anything like that?
No, I continue to look forward to them. And I'm trying to stay healthy. I'm trying to have a good, mental mindset to continue these journeys for as long as I can. And, I want to be like that dude who summited Half Dome. You see that? He was in his 90s, 93, 98, whatever.
That's incredible.
Yeah. So, I hope someday to be that man and to be that person. Being out on the trail and continuing to challenge myself, and not let age be a factor, not let that stand in my way, and just continue to push myself and drive and meet new people from around the world. That's been probably one of the biggest joys, most satisfying experiences of hiking is meeting new people. And building those connections.
Yeah, that's great. I love it. You're definitely an inspiration for me. Certainly, coming back from an injury and having this goal of this big hike coming up, that's definitely inspiring. But seeing you, getting out there and doing these hikes and just pursuing, what you want, I think that's really inspiring for anyone. So, keep it up, and I look forward to seeing your adventures in the future.
Yeah, great. Yeah, yours too. Your next strawberry run.
Yeah.
Or Hood to Coast. If you Hood to Coast, sign me up. I'll be on your team.
Okay.
You want an old man?
What's that?
I said, if you want an old man on your team, I'm there.
Yeah. No, that'd be great. I actually got a big hike coming up in a few months. I'm trucking to Everest Base Camp, so that one's certainly going to be a challenge.
Wow. Yeah, I'll be following you on that one for sure.
Yeah, I really have no idea what it's going to be like being at that elevation and hiking up there, but it's a challenge, and it's an opportunity to push myself as well. So hopefully meet a lot of amazing people along the way.
But I do have a question for you.
Yeah.
So when you're out hiking or running, how does nature speak to you? What does she say?
Oh, that's a really good question. Wow, I'm gonna have to think about that a little bit more. I think my initial reaction is just is that I'm a part of this, and I feel like I feel like I'm supposed to be out there and kind of reconnecting to where I came from. And I just feel so centered, and so like this is so natural out here. This is where we were meant to be. Uh, we're not meant to live, in big skyscrapers and big cities and all of that. We're meant to be out there in nature and be one with, the environment. So, yeah, I just really feel like this is home when I'm out there.
It is, yeah, truly. And there has been a few times. I mean, you may have experienced this as well, but where I'm hiking and then out of nowhere, it's just like this energy, this tingling that starts in the center of my chest and just radiates outward, like you are connected, like this is where you're meant to be. And is when I feel that, when I experience that, it might seem kind of woo woo, but it's something I feel where I'm just so connected. And like it's like you belong there, and it's right. And it's just, when I'm not in nature, when I'm, like you said, too surrounded with work and buildings and traffic and the daily grind, it takes a toll on me mentally.
Mm-hmm.
Once I get out there, it just re-energizes me, and it's like, this is where I need to be. And I feel at home,
Yeah.
So anyway.
Yeah, that's great. That's a great question.
Yeah.
To definitely ask more people that.
I'll have to send you a little clip of I met this guy, Dan Graybill, and he was a forester when I was hiking on the JMT. We'd kind of leapfrog from day to day, and we sat on this rock just below the Muir Hut. We were there for a day and kind of chilling with good Cali vibes, if you know what I'm saying. I asked him that question, and it was very profound, and I tried to I'll send you a little clip of it. And he had the greatest explanation of anybody I've ever heard. Not that, I mean, we all have a different way we connect, or what it says, or how we're drawn to it. But I always remember what he said, and yeah, it's just part of us. We need it. And I hope it's there for, future generations, and we can do what we can to preserve it.
Yeah, that's awesome. I'd definitely be interested in watching that video for sure. But Cliff, thank you so much for sharing, your story, your adventures with me and with the listeners today. Really enjoyed the conversation, and really looking forward to seeing you somewhere around the world soon.
Yeah, for sure. We'll definitely connect. We'll do a hike or run together.
Yeah, it sounds like a plan. That'd be a good excuse for me to get back down to San Diego here.
And we'll give you some of our wine while you're at it.
Oh, yeah, there we go.
All right. Good. Thank you so much.
Yeah, have a good one, Cliff.
Thank you.
Yep, bye.
Bye.
Hey everybody, Kyle here. If you enjoyed today's show and want more, you can always check out every episode on Spotify, Anchor, YouTube, and now Amazon Music as well. Just search for Our Travel Experiences on any of those platforms and it will pop up. You can also find everything all in one place on my website, ourtravelexp.com. And if you want to see my travel pictures as well as travel pictures from guests on the show, you can check them out on Instagram. The page is called Our Travel Experiences Podcast. And if you want to share your own pictures on the Instagram page or be a guest on the podcast, you can message me via that Instagram page or email me at ourtravelexperiences@outlook.com. I would love to see your pictures and hear about your travel experiences, so please send them my way. And if that isn't enough for you, make sure to check out my weekly YouTube show, From Around the World Fridays. Every Friday, I'm taking 5 to 10 minutes to answer questions from listeners, share some souvenirs that I bought over the years, share my postcards over the years that I've accumulated, or share videos and pictures from one particular city or country that I visited, and so much more. So check it out, guys. You won't be disappointed. And make sure you go subscribe to that as well. Thanks again for listening, and I'll see you somewhere around the world soon. Thank you to all the listeners and subscribers of this podcast. It's amazing that I get the opportunity to do this and, you know, talk to all of these amazing people around the world and hear their stories and share it with you. It's been a dream doing this. It's a lot of fun, and I'm excited to keep moving forward with it. As always, the subscriptions, $3 of the monthly subscription goes towards providing school supplies to kids in need around the world. And I'll be providing more updates on those, on progress with that as time moves along. But again, hope you enjoyed the episode, and we'll see you next week for another inspiring story and great episode. Have a great week. See you next time.